Hello everyone! In today's video, we're once again going to discuss some exciting information about the upcoming version 4.5 SP character, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR. As always, everything covered in this video comes from sources that are generally considered credible within the leak community. But before we get into the main discussion, running out of Stellar Jade and Honkai starrail? Don't worry, there's a more budget-friendly solution. Now you can top up in-game safely, quickly, and at a lower price through U7 Buy. And it's not just Honkai starrail, other games are available too, all in one place. Still not sure? No problem. You can check U7 Buy's reviews directly on Trustpilot, so it's transparent and trustworthy. For comparison, 80 oniric shards cost around $100 in the official store, but on U7 Buy, it's much cheaper. The process is also instant. Just select your server, enter your UID, and the balance is delivered straight to your account, no hassle. Don't forget to use code BOOM for a 5% discount. Click the link in my description or pinned comment to visit U7 Buy. Alright, today's video continues our discussion about AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR because we've received some very interesting new updates regarding his kit. This time, however, the information comes from a different source and introduces several new perspectives that significantly change the picture we had of this character previously. Before we get into the main topic, though, there's one interesting update from Seal Leaks that I'd like to mention first. According to Seal Leaks' latest data mining findings, Robin SP is most likely an HP scaling character rather than an attack scaling one. This is quite an interesting detail because it further strengthens the possibility that Robin SP is specifically designed for full remembrance teams, and perhaps even supports the theory we discussed previously, that she could potentially replace Castor Ice. As for AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR, Seal Leaks claims that he increases his elation value based on his speed, similar to Yaoguang and Silver Wolf 999. If that's true, then speed will likely become AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR's most important stat when building him. Now, let's move on to today's main discussion, which comes from Uncle Latte. For those of you who may have forgotten, Uncle Latte is the same source we previously referenced when discussing Acheron SP, as well as the leak claiming that Himiko Nova could summon a robot. This time, Uncle Latte uploaded a new video on Bilibili covering several additional details about AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR's early kit. After carefully going through everything, I managed to summarize several key points that I think are worth discussing. But before we go through them one by one, there's one major conclusion I'd like to mention right away. Based on everything Uncle Latte shared, it now seems much less likely that AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR will actually be a follow-up attack character. If that's true, then the previously rumored monomale team featuring Ashvale and Mortonak's Blade may never become a reality. So let's break down exactly why that conclusion starts to make sense. Let's begin with the first point. According to Uncle Latte, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR's ultimate is a single-target attack rather than an AoE ability. He reached this conclusion after analyzing AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR's ultimate animation shown in an official Honkai starrail short, where only a single enemy appeared to be affected. If that analysis is correct, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR would become the very first elation character in Honkai starrail whose ultimate is entirely single-target. Now let's move on to the second point, which is just as interesting. According to Uncle Latte, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR is expected to feature a unique lottery-style mechanic that perfectly matches his personality as a gambler. The mechanic is reportedly very similar to the dice system used during the Try Not to Laugh event. The basic idea is fairly straightforward. After using his ultimate, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR rolls a die. The result of that roll determines how many punchline stacks are randomly distributed across the team. So, in essence, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR is capable of generating punchlines, but the total amount depends entirely on the outcome of his dice roll. Now we arrive at what I personally consider the most interesting part of today's discussion. According to Uncle Latte, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR's AHA instant attack is also tied directly to that same dice roll. More specifically, the number of hits performed by AHA instant changes depending on the result. And here's the really exciting part. If AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR rolls the maximum value, an 8, after using his ultimate, he immediately grants action advance to AHA, allowing AHA to take the next turn almost instantly. In other words, if you hit the jackpot, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR essentially becomes a sundae for the elation path. Of course, there's one very important condition. You actually have to be lucky enough to roll an 8. Moving on to the fourth point. Uncle Latte also claims that AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR has a mechanic somewhat similar to Yunli. Specifically, he's expected to be able to store up to 2 ultimate charges. So, much like evanescia, AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR effectively has access to 2 ultimates. According to Uncle Latte, this mechanic was likely designed to reduce the frustration caused by unlucky dice rolls. At the same time, it also makes AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR much more demanding to play manually. Why? Because simply getting lucky isn't enough. Even if you roll the jackpot and immediately action advance AHA, your total damage can still end up being much lower if your team's punchline management isn't optimized beforehand. In other words, maximizing AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR's damage isn't just about rolling an 8. You also need to make sure your team has generated enough punchlines before spending that jackpot. Without proper punchline management, even the perfect dice roll won't produce the maximum possible damage. Finally, let's talk about the fifth and last point. Assuming Hoyoverse doesn't significantly redesign his kit before beta, Uncle Latte believes AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR's primary role will be that of a single-target elation DPS who also provides action advance support for AHA instant, of course, that he gets favorable dice rolls. Looking at all of this information together, one conclusion becomes increasingly clear. The possibility of AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR fitting into the previously rumored monomale lineup with Ashvale and Emblade now seems much less likely. The biggest reason is punchline generation. AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR still appears to rely heavily on punchlines in order to maximize the damage of AHA instant. In a monomale composition where he's the only elation character, there simply wouldn't be enough teammates capable of generating sufficient punchlines, severely limiting his overall damage potential. Because of that, a standard elation team currently seems like a much more realistic and effective home for AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR. So what do you think about this latest version of AVENTURINE WAVEFLAIR? Does the dice-based gambling mechanic make you even more excited to pull for him? Or are you a little concerned about how consistent his performance might be if so much depends on luck? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, we've reached the end of today's discussion. Thank you all so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to share it with your fellow Honkai starrail players so they can stay up to date with the latest information as well. Your support through likes and subscriptions means a lot and helps this channel continue creating informative content in the future. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next discussion.